When we come back, speaking of veterans, we got Mike Wherley, who was the veteran of the day at the York Fair this past Saturday, and he's going to join us this morning here on the Gary Sutton Show as my computer went off here this morning for no apparent reason on my phone. But we're going to have Mike Wherley in here. He was honored on Saturday, and he's a guy you've heard his name a lot here in the area over the years as a veteran for what he did also after his service was over. They say the service never ends, right? Well, we'll find out from Mike what that's all about when we come back here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. Mike Wherley just around the corner. It is an honor right now to recognize a man who answered our nation's call during one of the most challenging periods in American history, the Vietnam War. He was in the United States Army. He's a guy that a lot of people know around York. He is Mike Wherley, who was honored on Saturday as the York State Fair Vet of the Day. And I asked a question I've always wanted to ask because I've seen Mike's name around over the years. I ended up playing baseball against him when we were in Little League. Good morning, Mike. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, Gary?
I'm doing great, and I never got honored for my Little League stuff. I don't know if you did, but I remember playing you over near where the old airfield was off Roosevelt Avenue as a kid, and you were a catcher, I think, if memory serves me correctly. Am I right on that?
That's correct, and we'd have to chase your home runs out in the cornfield.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
That?
Yeah, home runs were not my forte, Mike, but it's good to kind of remember back and we say what happened those years. But in the late 50s and 60s, our country had a call to arms, and you answered that. You were born right here in New York. You graduated from West York High School, York Junior College. You joined the U.S. Army in October of 1970. Tell us a little bit about what took you into the Army, what your experience was, and of course you served our country in Vietnam.
Yeah, well, first of all, I got to thank my wife. She stayed with me through all the time I was deployed. We lived in Okinawa. That's where the first Special Forces group was based to go all over the Southeast Asia. But my wife was with me, and I'd be gone for 2 weeks, come back for 5 days, go for another, 4 or 5 weeks and come back for 2 days. And she was there. We actually had our first child in Okinawa.
Wow.
So she was there for all of that and going through that. But it's a very neat story about how I got drawn into the service because I used to work at, you may remember, Leonard's Moving, which then became Wherley Moving. But
yep.
My grandfather had that, and I worked for him. And I got out of high school, and I went to work for him, and I asked him for a raise. And because I was basically running the place. I'd worked there since I was 12, so I knew everything to go with dispatching and everything. And I said, Grandpa, can I have a raise? And he said, sit down here, son. And he says, don't come in here and ask me for a raise. I'll tell you when I give you a raise. And he says, I pay people according to what they need, and you don't need that much money right now. So that's why I went into service. I walked out the door. I made a right-hand turn, walked 5 blocks down to the post office back then, walked up the steps up there, and went in and saw recruiters. Now, this was 1970, so nobody was joining the service back then, so we had all the recruiters there. And I saw a brochure on Special Forces, and I picked it up. It says, can I do this? And the guy says, you bet you can do that. And he signed me up, and I went in. But the story about that was I was actually going to delay, for till this was in October until after Christmas because that's their busy season in the moving business and also in the new furniture distribution. So I went back and told Grandpa and my parents. I said, "Well, I ain't going to put up with this no more. I'm going to stay until after that, and but then I'm going to go into service." And my dad's a World War II veteran. Never talked about it. Never said nothing about it. And I had a high draft number. I wasn't getting drafted. He looked at me and he said, "That's the stupidest thing you've ever done in your life. You have no idea. You have no idea what you just did." And I didn't wait until December. They threw me out of the house that day. I had to call a recruiter to pick me up and take me up to the induction center up in New Cumberland that day. So that's my entrance into the military.
Wow.
That's the way it happened. So it wasn't like people say, "Oh, you're a patriot, want to go." So no, I just wanted to have a place to sleep. After I was out of my house.
I saw you were assigned to parachute jump school, Special Forces qualifying school in Fort Benning. You're assigned to 1st Special Forces Group Airborne based in Okinawa. You mentioned about that. Japan, and served as a communications sergeant and military advisor to foreign troops on A-Team Special Forces Operational Detachment in Vietnam, Philippines, Japan. honorably discharged in 1974. A lot of people know you also for what you did after that time, because you were co-chairman of the Vietnam Unknown Committee, working with Congressman Bill Goodley and Harold Redding to have the Unknown Vietnam Veteran Interment at Arlington National Cemetery, right?
That is true. And the thing that drove me, I got to mention, Jim and John. They were friends, the best friends of mine that were killed in Vietnam. I actually went. I was one of those who went to replace them, and that drove me that need to make sure people were honored properly. And then I visited the Unknown Soldier Tomb one day with my family. I saw there was no recognition of Vietnam there, and the museum was locked. And after that, I wrote a letter to Congressman Goodling, and that all started. Harold Redding did a fantastic job writing letters, to all the Congress. I did all the speeches, and I was the face of it, but he did all the back thing. And of course, Congressman Gooding got us to do everything. But that was a 4-year effort, and they finally entombed the Unknown Soldier, and we were invited there by Caspar Weinberger. I had a chance to meet Caspar Weinberger at York College when he came in to speak, to talk to about that. And anyway, we were there at the entombment at the invitation of him, and sat in the amphitheater in special seats, and it was very nice. And Ronald Reagan entombed the Unknown Soldier. Was the end. We thought that was the end of it. But then there was an agreement. You should know this. DNA was just starting, so there was an agreement among our committee. We were a very small committee, but ours and the League of Families, that if DNA could identify later the unknown, and actually was identified later as Michael Blasey, and he was sent home in 1994.
Wow.
So he's actually unentombed, but we went through that. But I should also mention that during the combat, I was saved by two guys who took over the field of fire with a machine gun, and when we were ambushed, and that was Don and Scotty, and they did that. And to this day, yet Don, who saved my life, sends us a Christmas package every year of oranges or something. All these years later,
wow.
The guy who saved me is the one that sends me the packages and stuff like that. I know them both. I still know them both now and talk to them once in a while. So it was quite an experience,
yeah.
and it's been 19,656 days since we were ambushed that day.
Not that you're keeping count, but I could certainly understand. Awarded the Combat Infantry Badge, Special Forces Green Beret, Airborne Silver Wings, 2 Presidential Unit Citations, Vietnam Service Medal, and Meritorious Service Medal. And this past Saturday, of course, the York Fair Veteran of the Day. But, Michael, you've done so much, and such an honor talking to you this morning, my friend. Thank you for all you've done, not only during that time in serving our country, but since that time in serving the spirit and the veterans who served with you. Truly one of the heroes that walk among us, Mike. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate that, Gary. I remember the games we played against each other. I want to say also, I also got the Good Conduct Medal. That may be something that people don't know about me, but I actually earned the Good Conduct Medal. I was actually a Good Conduct Medal.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Now, would your wife give you a Good Conduct Medal now, do you think?
I hope so. I mentioned her at first. I want to mention her again before we go. That'll give me points.
I tell you what. That's the most impressive part right there. So no, I'm kidding you, but really an honor to have you on this morning, Michael. Thank you so much, and thank you for all you continue to do here for York County.
And I thank what you do for us, informing us.
Thank you, my friend. Take care. Mike Wherley here this morning, the Veteran of the Day Saturday at the York Fair, which of course is ended now, but doesn't mean we end because we had 10 veterans. We're going to have one more tomorrow here. Kevin Smyers will be our guy tomorrow as we finish off honoring those people, but we never finish it off, do we? Continue to honor those people as you see them at various places and thank them for the service of the country. Just something we can't even measure.